Hey everybody, it's Muffin. Here I am today for a new draft analysis for the new league I have joined. This is the Advanced Trainer Association, otherwise known as ATA. This is a league ran by Ilkid and Yaywin, who I know from the DZL, and they're pretty chill dudes. Um, so this league is technically, it's more of like a season 1.5 because they started season one. It was a normal draft league, right? And then it kind of just died halfway through. But Ilkid has not given up and is coming back with his season one reboot. But this time he's spicing things up. He snagged all of the what they did is they cut the players down, so there's less. There's now only 8 instead of like the 12 they had before. He snagged all the active players that were still active through the first season, and then I think most everyone was from ATA season 1 except for me. I could be wrong, but any slots he still needed, he went in front of other people. I was one of those people who came in and joined the ATA community, and I joined them for this draft league. So what's special about this draft league though is it is an Uber draft league. I have been trying to find one of these for a little while now, since I've been really interested in attempting to do an Uber draft league and seeing what that's like. And Ilkid has answered my prayers, I guess. So it is a GBA style draft, right? GBA tiers, I guess, is how the best way to explain it. But like, you get one tier 1, one tier 2. Tier 1s being your Ubers, tier 2s being effectively your S tier mons. So the Greninjas, Landorus, Tapu Lele, Pheromosa, Darkrai, etc. The Deoxyses. There's a few interesting tier 2 picks in there too. There's Mega Mawile, Mega Kangaskhan, Tapu Koko, Landorus, and Steela. So yeah, then you get 2 tier 3 picks, 2 tier 4 picks, and 2 tier 5 picks, followed by 4 more free picks that you have 260 points to spend on, except they could only be from tiers 3 to 5, so everybody gets 1 Uber and 1 S tier. In terms of Z captains, you get 2. They can be offensive and supportive Z moves. They can be anyone on your team other than your Uber and your S tier. Ubers and S tiers are banned from using Z moves, with a few exceptions. Koko, Steela, and Landorus Farian are allowed to use Z moves for reasons. But anyways, so we ended up with 7th pick in the draft of 8 people, which it's not the worst spot ever. We're close enough to the wheel that we're gonna effectively be getting wheel picks. Like, I mean, it's not perfect wheel picks, but I don't view 7 to be that bad. It's better than, honestly, being up one thing higher would not be very, very fun. Now, obviously, we aren't gonna get any super busted Uber like Marshadow or Mega Lucario, but we're gonna be able to get a pretty strong Uber. So I decided for my first pick I was gonna draft my S tier mon, my tier 2. So I start out by drafting Protein Greninja. So obviously, really amazing mon, very fast, 122 speed, good mixed attacking and 95 attack, 103 special attack, solid coverage. You've got dark, you've got poison, ice, fighting, water, fight. I already said fighting. That actually might be it, but it's solid enough coverage. Oh, bug and U-turn for Greninja, since it's all it's all stab, right? So it's gonna be hitting hard, taking lives, and it'll be a great time. And he's got that mixed attacking, so I can swap him around. So after I picked up Greninja, I decided what I wanted to do was I wanted to wait till the end of my draft to pick up my Uber, because I didn't think my Uber was going to be one that somebody's going to necessarily go after. But I saw 2 other people doing that, and instead of being smart and messaging them like, hey, are you going to get this Uber? I instead was just like, I'll just grab the Uber to play it safe. So I ended up grabbing Dialga as my Uber, my personal favorite legendary, because that's my roots, is Gen 4. I love this guy. I love Dialga. And I think he's going to be great in draft, because first off, he's got a really amazing typing, is Steel Dragon, making him only weak to fighting, ground, and I know there's another weakness, but I cannot quite remember what it is. But he does have one other weakness. I'll remember it eventually. Maybe it is only fighting and ground, but I feel like he has one more. But anyways, really amazing typing, and then amazing freaking stats. 90, while slow for an Uber is going to be pretty good in draft. Great defensive stats in base 100 HP, base 120 defense, and base 100 SPDEF. Yeah, SPDEF's a little bit lower, but will make it work. A solid one, a usable 120 attack, and then an absolutely monstrous 150 special attack. So an absolute beast of a special attacker. Makes an amazing wall breaker without a damage boosting item. You throw a damage boosting item on there, and honestly, he can just start sweeping teams in the right situations. He's got ridiculous coverage. He's got steel, dragon, fire, ice, electric. he has poison, rock. I actually, don't quote me on the poison part. I don't know what I'm saying. But rock, he's just got, honestly, every coverage you could possibly really want on this guy, he's got it. I don't think he has poison, though. So, I don't know where I got that. In terms of setup, he doesn't really have any setup moves, except he does get bulk up, I believe, and hone claws. So, we can boost up that not so high 120 attack if we want to. I did learn. I originally thought he didn't have any setup, but I did a double take and looked, and he does get some physical setup moves. No special setup, though. Not like he really needs it, though. So, that's Dialga. He's gonna be great to use. So after that, this is where. So I had some big plans for this team. I had some good ideas, but let's just say those ideas did not go well at all. So after Dialga and Greninja, I was looking and I realized I have a pretty big fighting weakness, right? Plus, I have this ground weakness in Dialga, and I wanted something. I wanted something to like a really solid fighting resist is what I was thinking. So I wanted to pick up Zapdos. Really good defensive flyer. Also gives me really nice electric type and a ground immunity. It'd be great. But I got sniped. Shy-Crow ended up taking Zapdos, and I was like, dang it. I was like, what do I grab after Zapdos? And I'm like, still looking for that fighting resist. So I was like, I know. I'll get the most versatile mon in draft. I'll get Mew. And then Yaewin sniped me of Mew. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I did not know what to pick. So in my panic, because everyone was waiting for me on the draft, I end up grabbing Jirachi. As you can see, I did make Jirachi one of my Z moves. Reason I ended up picking Jirachi is I was like, I guess I'll go for something that can wish. I don't want like, I want a solid wisher, right? And so I was like, I saw Jirachi and I was like, Jirachi gets wish. I can do Iron Head, Serene Grace hacks if I am lucky, and then plus it's base 100 stats all across the board. I mean, that's not bad, right? So I picked up Jirachi. It is a little weird. It also is setting the foundation for a Volt Turn core I am making, which you'll see more later. I mean, Greninja's already kind of set it up, but Jirachi is adding to it. Jirachi's also a great Stealth Rock setter. Additionally, she's a Trick Room setter for Dialga, which I don't think I mentioned that, but Dialga under Trick Room can work really good against other Ubers specifically. Because I feel like, one thing I feel like a lot of teams are going to be pretty dang fast. Yeah, so I ended up also making Jirachi one of my 2 Z-move users, just because I feel like Jirachi can use it pretty well since, base 100s across the board. I honestly might end up dropping Jirachi some point in the season. I'm gonna give Jirachi some time though. It's gonna be a little bit before I actually drop her. If I do, I'll give it some time, see if I really like it or not. But for now, we have Jirachi, who I think is solid enough. It's a fighting neutral. It's never ground weakness though in fire, but we'll make it work. So after Jirachi, I decided that due to the fact that there is going to potentially 3 Zygardes running around in here, I want a really good grass type, like a really good grass type. So I went for one of the best grass types I can think of with Tangrowth. So Tangrowth here is an absolute beast of a grass type. Crazy crazy good bulk with 100 HP, 125 defense. Yeah, his SPDEF ain't that good, but you can patch that thing up. So you patch that 50 defense becomes really impressive once you slap an assault vest on it. I don't know why assault vest does so good at increasing special defense. It's only like what, a 1.5%, 1.5 times boost, but it just makes Tangrowth tank so many things, and I freaking love it. Um, so I grabbed Tangrowth. I also wanted Tangrowth because due to the fact I'm setting up this U-turn volts, this potential volt turn shenanigans. I want to be able to get a bunch of regen mons that can really benefit from this. So gives us that a very nice ground resist we were looking for, and another fire weakness, an ice weakness, poison, basic grass weaknesses, grass resistances, but overall really solid mon. First really truly defensive one on my team. I mean Dialga. Okay, I take that back. We have Jirachi and Dialga. Although generally I'm going to be running Dialga bulky offense, I would assume. Jirachi can be whatever the frick it wants. So after Tangrowth, I was still trying to hunt down more electric types, but I honestly don't remember what my 5th pick is. So let's actually go look at what it is, and then I'll give you my thoughts. So yeah, okay, yeah, I remember this pick. Okay, so at this point, I was trying to plan out the rest of my draft. I had a few things planned, but I was trying to find a good solid electric type, right? Because I want this Volt Turn core. And so I'm looking at all these different amazing electric types I want. And so at first I was looking at Rotom Wash, and then I realized somebody had already drafted Rotom Wash. And I was like, oh, oops. So then I was like, I know, I'll get Zeraora. I've never used him before. He's another mixed attacker, more physically biased instead of specially biased like Greninja. Plus, super fast. That'll be great. I got sniped. TP took Zeraora, and I was like, okay, that's not bad. We'll get Rotom Heat. Gives me a fire type. I don't always use fire types, so when I get them, they're pretty nice, right? And then Yaewin sniped me of Rotom Heat. And so I keep going after these different electric types, and one by one they just keep dropping, and I didn't really know what to do, and I ended up in my plan putting a really low electric type, and I eventually had crafted this okay team. I mean, my original plan for this team was completely gone the moment Zapdos and Mew were taken from my hands. So I ended up drafting Mamoswine for 2 reasons. One, I was still looking for a good ground. Mamoswine very much fits that description. Plus, I like having Ice Stab. Another reason is I learned that it ended up sniping Shycrow, who sniped Zapdos. So Shycrow, I don't know if you're ever going to watch this, but if you do, I somewhat apologize for spiting you, but at the same time, I don't. But I got Mamo now. I finally have a full physical attacker because I didn't really have that before. I mean, Jirachi's there, but Jirachi I feel is usually going to be a more defensive role. Decent bulk. I mean, really crappy defensive stats, but base 80 speed. Pretty nice on a Scarf, but overall just really great mons. Got priority Ice Shard. Still, I've used him before. I've always liked him. He always useful. So we'll use him. So after that, I continued to grab. I believe I grabbed my first real fighting resist I wanted because now I have another fighting weakness. Did I grab it? Let's see. Yes, I grabbed Tornadus Farian. Right. So Tornadus Farian is the next step in my Volt Turn core, my regen, and the last step, technically, in my regen core, and also my first real fighting resist, because I really needed that. Plus, my first actual hazard removal, which I kind of need. Very good defogger, pretty dang fast in 121, good offensive stats in 100 and 110. Defensive stats, they're not horrible, but they're not really that good either. He ain't going to be tanking a ton of hits. He works relatively well as a bulky pivot. Gave him Z moves because Z Hurricane is just great on Tornadus. Always a great time. But yeah, now I have this another nice special mon that can also use what physical moves he does have pretty well. But mainly the reason I drafted him was for defog, more regen, more U-turning, and an actual fighting resist. I end up drafting more down the line, but due to the fact that I never got Zapdos, my fighting weakness, you'll see, is quite prevalent pretty much the entire time. So let's see what I picked up after Tornadus. After Tornadus, right, I decided, okay, this pick kind of messed me up. So when I was looking at all, I had my entire draft planned out, except for I still needed one more tier 4. And I'm looking at all my options, and I'm like, at this point, I'm still looking for, I believe, a fire type, and I was wanting a ghost type also. So Yaver Chandelure, but again, that I was kind of getting too scared of all the ground weaknesses I was ending up having in the final draft plan, and another ghost type I looked at was Jellicent, but then that ended up with me having 3 water types, and I was like, 2 of them doing the same thing, and I'm like, that's not a good idea. So I ended up just deciding, let's grab Ditto. Like, Ditto isn't going to add anything in my type weakness area, and it's going to give me a Mon that I think is going to be pretty dang good in the Ubers League. So this boy is going to come in and be the ultimate revenge / anti-setup Mon you have ever seen. Plus, it's potentially can give me a second Uber or a second S tier that nobody else is going to get. So Ditto's here to just stop all of these Ubers and any other setup Mons in their tracks and scare the living daylights out of them. He's definitely going to put in work, I know that. So, now, another thing about Ditto is, when I was looking at this Ditto, after Ditto, I was planning to draft Slurpuff, and I do get Slurpuff, that's my next pick. But I told myself that I should pick up my bulky water first. I need to draft Slurpuff and then my bulky water, or draft my bulky water and then draft Slurpuff. I will explain what goes down. You can probably see what happens, but I'll tell you later. But next up, I pick up Slurpuff. This is my fairy, much more budget fairy than I generally draft. I usually like to draft a stronger fairy, but I mean, Slurpuff's strong, don't get me wrong, but like a bulkier fairy is what I mean. I generally draft bulkier fairies. Even when I draft like a fairy like Coco, I draft another fairy just to be safe, generally. But Slurpuff's going to be fun here. Going to give me sticky webs. Also Unburden boost, so I can run Unburden Belly Drum, or heck, Focus Sash, Sticky Web Lead, go into Endeavor, or just take lives there. Another thing that I really like about Slurpuff here is hopefully it'll be kind of a stealthy assassin, as in people will look at my team, they're going to see threats like Mamo and Dialga, Protein Greninja, Tornadus, and hopefully just scooch Slurpuff by. I mean, chances are most people watching this video are going to my opponents though, so I may have just sabotaged myself. But just maybe you'll forget. But yeah, we're just going to move on. So, next up, as you can see here, I get Lantern, but there's a story behind Lantern. So, as I said, when I drafted Ditto and Slurpuff, I had another water type in mind. It was a water type that I very much more prefer over Lantern. It was also a Rapid Spitter, which is something I did not have. And my hazard removal at this point is literally one Mon, Tornadus Variant. Just defog. That's not really good thing. Now, my team isn't really weak to rocks. Like, really only Mamo is weak to rocks. You can say Tornadus is weak to rocks, but it doesn't care because Regenerator. And so I was going to pick up Blastoise, and I told myself I need to grab Blastoise and then grab Slurpuff and then grab Ditto. But I was like, nah, it can wait. And then Yewen sniped me of Blastoise. And I was already all over the place since the Zapdos and Mew snipe and all the electric types. So I was a little triggered. And at this point, I didn't know what to do towards the end of my draft. Because there's a very specific Mega I want. It's my final pick, and I very much wanted it because I think it fits really well on this team. But I also still I was going to pick up Zebstrika for an electric type because having an electric type is good. And then I wanted Blastoise, but now Blastoise is gone. All of my options for Rapid Spin were not working. I could pick up Cloyster. That's another fighting resistance, which I do not want. I could have picked up Tentacruel, which was a ground weakness, which is something else I did not want at this point in time. And I did not know what to do. I was like, what am I supposed to do here? And I ended up talking to Ilkid, who ended up being the absolute saving grace of my entire sanity here. He suggested, how about you get Lantern? It'll give you an electric type, it'll give you a Volt Switch, and it'll give you a bulky water, plus Heal Bell. And yes, that helped me collect my thoughts and finish this draft without just going completely insane. So I end up drafting Lantern, and yeah, that's all I really have to say. Is just nice bulky water type, water immunity or electric immunity depending on what I want to go with. And honestly, I'm probably going to drop Lantern in the future for a Alomomola, because I really wanted a Regenerator water, because I think that pairs so well with these guys. So, to be honest, Lantern's probably going to get dropped, and I'm probably just going to say, who needs Volt Turn? We'll just go full U-turn shenanigans. But yeah, that's what we have for now. For now, it's Lantern. And after that, I ended up solving my Rapid Spin problem and got Dhelmise. Very nice Rapid Spinner. Hits like a truck with 131 base attack. It's effectively got free stabs, so that's nice. It's also a ghost, so I actually have a spin blocker myself, which is something I wanted. 40 base speed, pretty decent bulk. That's all I really. This literally only reason I drafted him is pretty much the spin. I mean, also great as a spin blocker too, but that's really my only reason for drafting this beast. It's also my only other hazard removal. And then for my final pick, I ended up picking up Mega Heracross. Yes. So I wanted Mega Heracross really badly, because Ilka did suggest for my Rapid Spinner I grab Mega Blastoise, but I wanted this thing way too much. I think it fits my team just really well, because if you look, I have one absolutely godly special Mon in Dialga, and then some pretty solid other special Mons like Tornadus, Greninja, and then I have like this one solid physical Mon in Mamoswine, but I don't really have a truly powerful physical attacker. And I also was looking for a ground resist, and I came across Heracross, who I was like, Mega Heracross, that might be good. And then I saw what really caught my eye with Mega Heracross is how bulky the thing is. Like 80 HP with 115 defense and 105 special defense. That's with packing 185 attack. That I feel like that should be illegal. Like this thing is just so bulky. Like for not being like a legendary, for being just a normal everyday Mon, I feel this thing is just terrifying, especially in a draft league setting. 75 base speed, while not super fast, will work great if I end up running Trick Room comps or, heck, Sticky Web support from the Slurpuff. This thing should just break through teams. Plus, with its bulk, it makes another solid ground resist, which is something I wanted more of. It's also a fighting resist, which helped me patch this up. And that's pretty much my draft. I mean, overall, I still am a bit weak to fighting. I also think I'm a little bit weak to fire, not flying. My fighting resistance my fighting weakness was never truly fixed. It was more like Ilkid said in PR, is patched, which I very much agree with him. Definitely not the plan I saw for myself at the beginning of this draft, but definitely still came out very solid. Again, we'll probably be dropping Lantern later for a Lomola. Maybe we'll be dropping Jirachi. Honestly, if I'm dropping Lantern, it's going to be after week 1. Jirachi, I'm going to give a few weeks. Probably, if I end up dropping Jirachi, it'll be probably week 3 or 4. If I don't drop it by then, I'm not dropping it. But yeah, that's the end. thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm coming back to attempt to do Draft League YouTube again. I enjoyed it for the short time I did it in DZL Season 3 before complications came up, but I figured out a new way for me to get things done. So hopefully I will be able to be covering DZL Season 6 when that starts up, which is going to be relatively soon. I'm going to continue to cover ATA and just have a great time. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.